Do you think that protecting the environment is a good thing? Do you dislike that a small group of people own so much more than everyone else? Do you think that war and imperialism is in general a bad thing? Do you think that $1 billion is too much for any one person to spend in their lifetime? Do you like unions? You may align with the beliefs of eco-socialists more than you may think, even if it sounds scary. The reason why it sounds scary is because in the current political landscape, the term socialist is treated as a bad word. If someone has leftist ideology, not even necessarily super far left, there is a chance that they could be called socialist or even communist. This is because the propaganda that the US has spread since World War II. There was a large fear that communism would spread to the US, so Truman ordered the Ad Council to spread capitalistic propaganda. This lasted through the Cold War, and even now, the capitalistic ideal is spread through the school system with subtle anti communist slash socialist rhetoric. Is it any wonder that people are against the idea of socialism and communism without knowing exactly what it really is? Well, socialism is the belief that the public should control property and natural resources as individuals do not work alone, but together as a people. They also believe that everyone who contributes to the production of a good should own a share of it. This reduces profits for shareholders, but increases worker earnings, productivity, growth, and reduces the chance to go out of business. This can be compared to unions and union rhetoric during the Industrial Revolution, as workers were upset about working conditions and unionized. They got better working conditions and pay, and unions are still a very, very important part of the workplace today. You can think of socialism as a next step for working class conditions and lives. An important note is that socialism is not a change in political system. We would still be a democratic republic, just with a different economic system. This is a very common misconception that is spread around very well, but socialism would not change the way the U.S. government would run, ideally, because the government's pretty, whatever. Eco-socialism bounces off the ideals socialism brings out, with further beliefs in that the planet and people of the planet are more important than profits. It is ecology combined with socialism and believes that capitalism and the chase of ever increasing profits is driving the climate crisis. Companies, such as car companies, need people to keep driving cars and buying new vehicles because they need to keep getting profits. Therefore, they lobby for car centric legislature and spread the message that public transit is worse and less free than owning a car. For a lot of people, turning my paper around, for a lot of places, public transit would reduce traffic, reduce costs, and benefit the environment. That is not to say that cars are bad. Not at all. This is just one example as to how companies' pursuit of profits can harm the environment. But who benefits from a capitalistic society? One group of people are benefiting at a disproportionate rate: the owning class. The people who are so hell bent on raising profits by any means. People have lost jobs, lives, and property to them. Why should the average worker be bullied because someone has more money? That's where socialism would come in. The main idea behind socialism is that workers own the means of production. Profits are not shared amongst a small group of shareholders, but instead with all the workers. This leads to better run businesses and happier workers. Eco socialists strive to change a system based on consumerism and profits to a system that puts planet and human needs first. It is based on the Marxist idea of economic structure. Generally, Marxism argues that capitalism is a form of economic and social reproduction, is inherently flawed, and will ultimately fail. It is based on the idea that there are two main social classes: the proletariat and the bourgeois. The bourgeois is the ruling class that owns the businesses and profit from the labor of the proletariat. The theory posits that there is a constant conflict between the classes as the bourgeois wants to maximize profits and the proletariat wants to reduce exploitation. Is it perfect? No. No matter what, any economic structure is not a zero sum game. My goal was to spark ideas that there are other options. We can and should explore different ideas because that's how we grow as a people. That's how we advance society. I very much believe that the environment is the most important thing that we can and should work on. And I want to try to reverse the damage that has been done on the climate. And I believe that eco socialism is very important and a very, very, very good starting point for this goal. And that's from my research. Thank you very much.